I don't anticipate an audience tonight, except for Dave, of course, for now.
Or
Lucky
Mr.
Dave.
Ross.
All right, yes, Lori Anthony,
Here.
Dwayne Woodsum,
Yep.
Dave Barker,
Here?
Nadine Malloy.
Present.
Hetty Smith,
Present.
Nancy Brandt.
Here.
Steve Ross is not here, and I am here. Okay, new business, one, review section 301 term limits. And I know this was kind of brought up a couple meetings ago. Not much, I think, was done last time about it. So, consensus on term limits.
Well, we did have, last meeting, we did
Yep.
have a long discussion.
Discussion, okay.
Yeah, long discussion, but we chose to hold off until the members were all here.
Okay.
Those members that weren't here last meeting, if
Right.
they'd like to offer any
Yeah.
discussion, and I'm sure the other members would be glad to
With
revoice what
emphasis
they
on
have.
glad.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will.
Well, I wasn't here last meeting, so I'll start.
Okay.
I've been pretty vocal about term limits. I am not anti-term limits. However, knowing what it's like here and how hard it is and difficult it is to find people to volunteer their time and fill those spaces, it's become quite a challenge, to the point where even this past election, I didn't have anyone running, for example, for one of the school board member vacancies. And luckily, someone had enough write-ins, and the one with the majority decided to take it. But if not, I would have been in another situation where last year, I had to have a special election right before a larger November election, just to fill something. And I personally don't think that issue is going away at a municipal level, especially here in Waterboro. I anticipate it only to get worse. So again, I am not opposed to term limits. I think it is a positive thing. However, at this level, I wouldn't be okay with it. And again, that's just my personal opinion. That also has to do with what I see inside these walls and with what I deal with, and it is not easy trying to find people. So I wouldn't want to put the town out if something were to occur, and then to have to try to find someone. And again, I'm also looking at it from a financial standpoint. Every time I have a special election for something like that because someone didn't want to run and I'm going off write-ins, that's costing money at the end of the day. And it's a good chunk of pocket change for something that could be avoided if there was that public participation.
Talking $3,000 to $5,000 for an election.
Depending, yeah.
Depending.
Yeah.
I mean, you just have to think, I have to post the warrant, it gets posted in the papers, absentee ballots, it's a regular election, just not all that foot traffic. So for me and my end, and just with what I deal with here, and seeing the lack of enthusiasm from people outside the walls, I wouldn't be okay with it at this level. It doesn't mean that, higher up and, state and Congress and all that, I am not for it there, but
Right.
for here,
I'm with you.
I wouldn't be able to, I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I
at this
would agree
time,
with it.
at this time,
Right,
for this municipality. Future?
because
maybe.
if you had the term limits and the term limits were enforced and we didn't have someone to fill in, then we're in a spot.
Mhm. We are.
Yeah, definitely. And we're putting the town in a position, so.
And trust me,
I-
I get it.
I'm all for term limits, but I think for our municipality, it doesn't work right now.
And it's definitely not just Waterboro, it's really countrywide. I think their expectations are they want accessibility, they want to be able to be considered a participant via Zoom. Many places are not okay with that, you have to be physically present. So that younger generation, or, you know, you are always calling it a bedroom community, those
Right.
people who are coming from work, the last thing they want to do is be here. They'd rather be at home and be able to be a, you know, participant electronically. And I don't see that really happening here either, at least for now. So I wouldn't want to hinder anything. Again, I am not anti-term limits, but
Well,
we have many committees that need to have members, and they do not have members. And we have posted things publicly asking for participants and
We
for
have
people to
vague-
volunteer, and the vacancies just keep growing. So for me, that's my, 2 cents
Well,
on it.
where we did have a month, and Nancy's proposal, she had mentioned taking it to social media, so that's what I did. And I was really surprised that everybody that had messaged me back to give their opinion were all for it. There was one that claimed she was a member of the select board 20 years ago,
Cindy Moore, probably.
and she went nuts on everything. But what was really surprising is I didn't mention it. But everybody that was for it and said, yes, it was time to move the town forward, they all came back with a statement of the lack of notification. They said they have no idea what's going on in town, they have no idea what positions are open. I said, what about town website? And they said, what town website? And what I did notice is that, yes, with the town, if there's, say, an event going on, the Blues Festival or something like that, they post it into What's Up in Waterboro. But yet, when it comes to a vote or town business like that, it doesn't go there. And the people don't follow Waterboro on Facebook. They follow these groups. So it was kind of funny because I never mentioned it. But what they did mention is a lack of notification of the people, and a lot of them said they'd like to be involved, but they don't know what's going on.
Well, I think a lot of that, in my opinion, is lack of their own initiative. If they want to be
Could be.
involved, they know the website, they can go to the website, all the opportunities to get involved are laid out there.
Well, I'm just bringing it, don't,
I gotta
I'm just
agree.
listening.
People are just plain lazy. I mean, and they haven't got the time.
see, and that's another thing that they were saying too. A lot of people said they walked away from being involved because they felt like they were being belittled, insulted, mocked by municipal officials. So I mean, I'm just bringing, this is what came to me over a month.
That's their opinion, of course,
Well,
everybody
yeah.
knows I held a position here, voluntary position. I was not belittled or mocked at all.
No, they're saying,
Well, I've heard it from my position here in the past.
yeah,
Committees and boards would come up with an idea and it would get thrown out the window because it wasn't what was wanted.
exactly. And that's what they're saying, that's why they walked away. I mean, I noticed that, I was part of the 2020 Comprehensive Planning Committee. I was on the zoning board, and when this current charter got passed, we all left, everybody did. Because then it tied our hands. And it put all the power into a body that wasn't even brave enough to say, well, we are a town council. And it was an open lie. And when you openly lie and the people find out that they've been schnookered, they're not very happy, and they will just turn and walk away and leave the town to their own. But of course, they're gonna complain about everything that goes on. It's the same thing of, oh, our taxes are too high. Well, did you vote? Well, no. Well, then you don't have I'll be the first one to tell them, if you didn't go vote, then you don't have a reason to complain about it. But this is, put it on social media, so I took the pounding and I sat down and everybody was open to it, and they had
So,
good suggestions, and
where
I
did
did
you
have,
post it?
that, huh?
Where did you post it?
I put on that, what's up in Waterboro. I do know that there's a lot of, 12,000 people in that group, and the majority are not Waterboro citizens.
So,
And so, I had a few people from other towns that know me and stuff, and they gave their opinion, but they said they know it doesn't matter because they don't live here. But, yeah, I mean, that one lady, Carol something from like 20 years ago, boy, was she upset. And she let everybody have it.
so we do need to try to like get through some stuff. So is there a motion?
Well, just let me say one thing.
Sure.
So, I'm for term limits, I really am. But like I said at the last meeting, this is not a hill I'm ready to die on. And, Dwayne was very vocal at the last meeting that, he was not gonna support it. And I suspect that that's probably the majority of the sitting select board is not going to look for term limits right now. And, and what we propose to them, they don't have to take, certainly, right? What I would say, though, is that there's a deeper, darker conversation that the select board or the town council has to have. And that's about getting citizen participation. And to believe, we've said it here, it's been said at this committee, that in order to get participation, there has to be a different pathway to that. And I think to put up roadblocks and obstacles against that is a conversation that needs to happen if you want to move forward, and if you really do want participation, and if you do want 30 and 40-year-olds to come in and have a voice. Because if you don't, if you do want to keep this the way that it is, and seat it the way it is, then it will always be the same. And they'll come up with the same decisions, and you're not going to move forward. You've got to have that conversation about how we do reach. And I know you're working on it. I mean, you do have social media, you do have those things. And I'm not sure about what the state statute is for having Zoom meetings at the municipal level. I know what it is at school boards, but I don't know what it is. So it may take an action at the legislature in order to revamp whatever that statute is in order to allow Zoom meetings to happen.
I will say, I know a lot of municipalities that do, and I've asked, I've personally inquired, because that's truly my demographic, for being serious, and I've asked, I have been very vocal about, we are going to eventually need someone who is completely devoted to communications.
Yeah,
And that's all they do.
Yeah.
Whether it be social media.
yeah.
I'm not anti that because I have discussed it. I've expressed my interest of that to Matt. It's the world we live in,
Yeah.
and we're not going away from it.
Right.
It's just going to get more intense. And in regards to things like Facebook, What's Up in Waterboro, there needs to be someone who, in my opinion, can be on that and filtering through things and addressing the public professionally from the town, as the town, not as an employee from the town. Again, those are my opinions.
Right, and
I
you
don't
know-
disagree with you because I do feel like most places are hiring or training someone or an individual for communications only, because it is a full-time job.
It absolutely is, and we know that Facebook is not a demographic for you. It's not a demographic. Facebook is a demographic for me, and older. It's not a younger demographic any longer, right? So anybody who's 20, 30, whatever, is not on Facebook. They're just
No,
not.
they do use the groups, but it's like, look at my car, look at the burnouts I'm doing, look how fast I'm going down the highway.
Right,
You know,
but there are
it's got
so many
nothing to
other
do with it's got
platforms.
nothing to do with
There are,
policy.
and that's why I don't disagree, and it could potentially, even I feel like even at this level, it could be almost a full-time job,
Right,
Right.
so I
just
guess
to keep up.
all I'm saying is at this point in time, you know, I heard what several of the committee members said at the last meeting. I hear you, Dave, and I'm
Yeah.
with term limits too. I agree that there should. I just think right now it's not a hill I'm gonna die on for
Yeah.
this commission. And I don't think it will go through. It won't go through the select board, I mean, so,
Well, no,
I-
I mean,
you know,
you're
I-
asking,
so-
you're asking them to vote themselves out of a job.
well.
It's the same thing with, the higher up in the federal government. How do you get the Senate or the House of Representatives to set term limits when they're actually voting themselves out of a job?
Right.
And there is no lack of people waiting to take their spot. We do have a lack of people
Right.
waiting to take the
Well-
spots here.
That's
And that's
my
when the
biggest-
town grinds to a
One thing
halt.
with the notification, one thing they all said, mailers. They're used to, they would like to see a mailer go out and this is what's going on, this is what's happening, these are the dates,
And
you know?
in the past, some of that stuff has been done, and I'm not in the last 5 years, but, and you go to the post office, and the can is just full of those flyers. They picked it out of their box and threw it away.
It's
Right.
expensive too.
And,
It's
you
very
know,
expensive.
It's very
it
expensive.
comes in,
And I don't think people read
and
'em.
the ones that get it at home, if they got a wood stove, it goes in the wood stove. I mean, but I'm not dead set against term limits. My scariest part of term limits is not to be able to have somebody to put on the ballot.
Well, and
and
you're right, because it could get
it's
to
not
a point where you
term
can't
limits.
have government.
Right,
Term limits at this point, with what you got on the board, I can't picture any of them being there in 10 years. Including my, and if you put term limits on, it's gonna be almost a 10-year, some of them could be, almost 11, I think, the way it figures out, but, you'd do a three-year term starting with the new charter, so you'd have another 9 years, 10 years, depending on where you are, sitting on that board, but,
just in time for the next
the
charter.
next thing is what's gonna happen in 10 years.
Yeah.
The other thing that can happen,
Is the world gonna be
Is-
here in 10 years?
we ain't going there.
Thank you.
The other way of changing this is a petition. In 2 years, 3 years. And it wouldn't affect your charter, so to speak, of an up or a down. So,
Yeah, well,
that's
it would
what
take a
scares
petition to
me
change
is,
the charter.
this could determine an up or a down.
Yeah, yeah, like I say, I
The
think it's,
selectmen versus the charter and manager versus
yeah,
the assistant, I think is gonna be changed enough to whether, and does anybody know what a town manager or what a
Select board versus council.
Yeah, select board of
That's the difference.
council, there's no difference, just wording. There's no other duties or taking away duties, but people are gonna question it, so. You gotta sell that, along with the, I hate to see it go in this charter because I don't wanna see the we would have wasted 6 months here, at least 7 months, 8 months. And we're to a point here where this needs to go to the attorney, should go tonight, to be able to get this on the November election.
Well, I know Dave has had his motion, so if you wanna put it out there and see
Yeah,
how it floats.
I'll make the motion that we place term limits of 3 years, 3 consecutive years with an 18-month break in between eligibility to be placed in the charter under 301.
Is there a second?
Well, I'll second it for the sake of voting.
Okay.
All in favor?
Two.
So the motion doesn't pass. There.
Well,
you
you go
gotta
the
finish it.
you don't want to finish it.
Yeah, you gotta finish it.
So, those
All
opposed.
opposed?
That's half.
Yeah,
I was doing it in my head.
yeah,
Well, yeah.
you can't do that.
Officially,
I know, I'm
you can't do
sorry.
it in your head.
Who got you?
All right.
That is true. Nice try, Marita.
I know. I'm tired. It's been a long day. Is there anyone who's thinking of a different motion on term limits?
Realistically, that was defeated, so.
All right.
Fine.
Item 2, review section 309, missing consecutive meetings.
Excuse me. That, we had discussed that last week, and we had discussed if it was a state law or something that selectmen cannot run for office. And then I found that it was under 309.
Under 309. That's-
You can add qualifications. But this would be after what they have here.
Yeah, the state law just it leaves it up to the town for
to
whatever
be
their
by charter.
bylaws are. They don't mention it clearly, they just,
All they
whatever.
say is you have to be 18 and a citizen of the United States.
Yep.
Right,
Oh, and a voter of the town that you are running for. That's what they say.
right, but the first, it's up to according to town,
Yeah, and then the town can build on
Right.
that from there, yes.
so they don't say yes or no or different
Correct.
things. But yes, it is under C for a crime. You know, that could be added in, if you're a convicted felon, you can't. Because I know looking through these other towns, when I was looking through the email, a lot of them have that in there.
So what are you proposing is different than what C already says?
that.
We were talking felon, but the question, as Nancy said, was, does the state have, is it written in state law that if you're a felon, you cannot,
And that answer is no.
No, the state left it up to the municipality.
Okay,
Yep, so it's there.
so it's.
So, right, it's up to each individual municipality if they want to put it in or not.
So it's up to this committee to, either add it or leave it.
Right.
Now,
Well, it's already
Uh,
there, so it's
convicted
either
of a
remove it or
crime.
leave it
crime for which,
for 1 year. Imprisonment for 1 year or longer.
but if you're a felon, you're a felon for life. That don't go away.
Right.
Now, a felon could mean a sex offender. It could mean,
Assault on a
So,
police
yeah, on a
officer.
police officer.
yeah,
You know.
or driving to endanger, or,
But don't most of those come, are those more minimal than what's in here already? I mean, a sex
Yeah.
offender, chances are they're gonna go to jail for a year.
Well, yeah, you would have your Class A,
Don't
Class
think
B,
so.
Class C, and
Not
Class D
necessarily.
Not
felonies.
necessarily?
I mean,
Yeah.
you take some of these young kids that have,
They plea bargain out of it, or, you know,
Okay,
they
all
reduce
right.
time.
No, I'm
You-
just asking, cause if that makes it stricter, and
an
it's not covered,
18-year-old may not go to jail for.
well, 18-year-old can't run. so-
But he's gonna be a sex offender if he's, or he's gonna be a felon because he's a sex offender,
Yeah,
was convicted of, God knows what the parents had for money to bail him out.
true.
Well, for ones like that, you could put a Class A, Class B felony. The Class C and your Class D felonies are, yes, you're driving down the road at 100 miles an hour, and they like to call you a felon now for driving to endanger.
I think
But that's the
you-
lesser, that's the C and the D
Yeah,
of the felony.
I don't think we
Russ,
get into
I
the
don't think you wanna get
classifications.
into that classification. It's either you're a felon,
Or you're-
Not-
can't be, and that's
If you
it.
exercise the poor judgment to drive at 100 miles an hour down the road, I don't necessarily want your judgment running the town.
Well, yeah, well, I'm just throwing it out there that that's,
Valid, but everybody makes a mistake. I'm not one for leniency, but.
so you wanna leave it the
there's
same, or?
also to restrict it, doesn't it? I just think that if you just add the general term felon, you're also restricting the lesser crimes that, okay, sucks to be you, but everybody does it.
Right.
That one got caught. It scares me a little bit. I don't know if I could support that. I think what's there is fine for right now, unless things change. That's just my 2 cents.
Now, you had one, and I don't wanna get into too much detail. You had one that pulled papers a few years ago, and he didn't turn them back in. And come find out he had quite a record behind him.
Did that record include just a list of felons but never served time, or did he actually serve time?
He didn't serve time.
Okay.
I don't believe, I remember,
So was that on the
Yeah,
application
days.
though?
I know.
but,
Oh, I know.
but it was definitely researched before he turned the papers, before he got them all filled out.
Yeah.
No, you say the
So what if
paper.
you do a time caveat though? So
Yeah.
if convicted of a felony within the last 9 years, or that gives people the opportunity to say, yeah, I've turned my life around, and
I don't know if you want to get into that, I don't know, I just,
Well, like I say, that's the
think I'd
question.
leave it
If
alone.
on the application, does it ask a person if they're a convicted felon on the application?
I would have to, I have no idea.
Right. So if it doesn't, then it's actually immaterial. You're shooting craps with who's ever, you know?
Unless it's spelled out.
That'd be an HR question. I mean, we could always, if that's something no one's comfortable with, I could always figure that out tomorrow and get back, and that one little thing could be,
Well, that, I mean, if we're getting ready to send this to
well, that's kind of
Natalie,
my
I mean,
thing.
yeah, I would say that could be a question to Natalie to, do we or don't we even put it in there? I don't know that we can really judge on it, or vote on it.
Well, I can't,
I
my
can't.
mind,
I can't.
my mind goes to, I see both sides, but in the state of Maine, a felon's allowed to vote. And if you're allowed to vote, then I feel like you
Share the
have
same
an
government.
inherent right, you can run for public office.
Yeah.
Like I said, my opinion's split on it, though. I personally am a rule follower, so,
Everybody try. Well, most people.
yeah.
I will not use everybody and nobody. Most people try.
I think, I agree with Dwayne, to have.
Natalie, review.
Yeah.
Really
Natalie.
look at that.
Yeah.
And maybe clean up that number C to,
Yeah.
you know, what it should be. I did kind of like Cumberland's, which is convicted of a crime or offense which is reasonably related to an inability to serve as a counsel.
Yeah, that's not, I like how that's.
Yeah.
I kind of like that language, because that could mean.
It's still
accounting.
vague.
That could
Who
mean,
governs it though?
you know,
That's
financial
opinion.
stuff, you know,
That's
so.
opinion.
Yeah,
But I mean, it could be a qualifier, so, but I would leave it to Natalie to decide what's best language there. You know, if this, I mean, if this works and she says leave it, you know, then fine. But if there's something better,
Yeah.
I'm up for that too.
I need that.
like
Yeah,
you
I can
said,
reach out to Natalie.
the word felon, I guess would, crime or felon, how do you word it?
It's
so
the
that it-
definition, yeah.
Yeah,
How do you
is
word
it,
it?
is it unfair, you know?
Yeah, I can definitely reach out to Natalie on that tomorrow. Review qualifications for council. I feel like we almost kind of talked about it a little bit.
Well, wasn't too also something about there was in the wording of, like what you just went through with the selectman that turned in his resignation and said 6 months down the road, never showed up for another meeting?
Yep,
Weren't we gonna didn't we want to clean that up so that, you know, that's it, 3 consecutive meetings, you're gone.
Unless you've got an.
An excuse.
Unless you, right, unless you've got an
Yeah.
excuse.
I mean,
Yeah.
In-
A legitimate.
In my last 6 years of term, I was in the hospital for 3 months. I did some of the Zooms. David Chavette was out for, I don't know, 6 or 8, 9 weeks here, with health problems. Any of us at this age can have a health problem. It ain't gonna be
Yeah.
Well, I
my age,
understand, you
mean,
know,
it's-
an excused
and that's-
absence.
That's an excuse, I mean,
Well, I think it's covered under D, fails to attend
Yeah.
3 consecutive
Well, it's
regular
like,
meetings.
you're sitting here reading it, and it's like, that's what it
That's what it
says.
says. I think it's fine as it is.
Yeah, I would agree.
that would be a month and a half.
Yeah, 6 weeks.
It says
Right.
without being excused, so if you're in the hospital, whatever,
Yeah.
you're excused.
Yeah.
And you're excused.
So,
So
it's
so
just,
the
But
council would
In
basically
order
have
In
to,
order to do that, the councilman that is lack of attending needs to request that.
right,
Right.
I mean, if he doesn't request it, then the board on the 4th meeting has the right to at least have a hearing or
Yeah.
something. I mean, there's gotta be some type of a process.
Executive session.
Yeah,
I think there is in here someplace.
Yeah,
I think I saw.
I think you're right, somewhere
I think it's
there
in here.
it covers it.
Under
but-
310, special meeting may be held on the call of the chairman and majority of the members.
They're coming after us.
Coming after you.
Sounds like this.
they've been
that sounds-
nonstop lately.
That sounds like the ambulance.
It does sound like it.
Yep.
No, if they'd stop rolling over their cars and taking out poles.
I was gonna say, how many poles
And
are we
banks.
missing there? Oh, my word.
5. I've counted 5 in the past month.
It's horrible.
Still got that one at
Anyways.
the end of my driveway broken.
Here, about a month ago, had some kid going about 100 or so miles an hour, barely missed the new pole they just put up by the log cabin just past my house, and his car was here and his engine was down the
Yeah.
road. And he said, I was only going 35.
I feel like there were
No,
qualifications.
your engine was going 35 when it broke off the nose of your car.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, I guess the biggest thing there would, I guess it's up to the town council, they'd have to think about what's going on with the member that's giving a resignation 4 or 5 months out and just not accept it. And then when he doesn't show up for 3 meetings, and then you
I
have,
was gonna say, there's other ways of handling it.
right,
Yeah.
so that would be, that's nothing to do with this then.
Right.
All right, shutting up now, moving on.
I mean, I personally didn't have any, I didn't find anything wrong for the qualifications for council.
I think, in my mind, this is ready to go to Natalie.
There's only one that I have under 905, the budget established appropriation.
Yeah.
We had it within the last 3 months of fiscal year, the town manager may transfer without council approval.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
And I think we had talked, should it be with?
With council, I think,
I
yeah.
agree.
I don't think
Yeah,
that's-
I don't think one man or
No,
one
it wouldn't
person,
look
one
good.
body should
No.
be
Yeah.
able to do that.
Right.
The other night, we did that, so, I mean, the whole body did it.
Yep, yep. I saw that.
But,
Me too.
I did. Live stream.
the only question I got, Nancy, transferring or creating another account, like the other night, they had, and I'm not sure how they did it, but Matt and whoever had created, taken money out of the town road account and put it into a special account, which was still town roads. It was for cleanup of that
Stone?
snowstorm. And
I think you
so
can,
we transferred it back because they hadn't used it all. But they needed to do that in order to get the FEMA money, which tomorrow is coming, so.
Isn't that an emergency
yeah,
management
Yeah.
fund?
you can do that.
Yeah.
To-
Under emergency management or.
Yeah, you can do that, because you have,
Yeah.
because you have to track all of
It
that,
doesn't
and then
have
it
to, but that didn't
disappears.
have to go through the selectmen to do that. Okay.
No.
Well,
But there is something there to,
so in this whole paragraph, I know it says without, but there's a qualifier here. It says that, that it's only a certain amount of money that they're allowed to do that without the select board. And it's the select board that tells the town manager up to how much that they can move without the select
905.
boards. And after that, the excess, anything above that transferred would have to be approved by the council. So let's say there's $300 in one department that we know that that department's not gonna use that $300. But in the last 3 months, this other department needs $300 in order to purchase a something or other. And they have to wait 2 weeks in order to come to the select board, to have the board take a look at that $300 before that they can transfer.
In that case, if it was a state of emergency, we'll say the computer or the printer went down, that would just be bought with the town manager's approval, and it would be up to the selectmen to transfer funds in the last 3 months to cover that. It would show an overdraft
Right, and
until the last
because you're
3 months.
going by what the charter says right now.
An
Yeah.
amount to be determined by the board.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're already, so that case is what the charter
Charter
says
says,
now?
yeah.
Right now, yep.
So if you change that without to with, you are tying the hands. You are saying that the town manager cannot transfer that $300 until the board meets
Right.
and allows that, and that could be 2 weeks from the time.
From whenever the next meeting is,
Yeah.
and there could be
Correct.
something detrimental that he needs the
Correct.
money for right away.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I'm not in agreement with changing that. I think that you're covered here because the select board is saying what he can do
Yeah.
in the last 3 months.
And they are allocating that.
Right,
Right.
they know that that particular amount is, he's allowed to do that, and the town manager would know that they're allowed to do that. Anything above that amount, they know they have to bring it to the select board. So I don't wanna tie the hands there, when we're talking a set amount determined by the select board. You're already.
I think
You're
you're
already-
absolutely
you're
right.
already saying
I
how
think
much-
I agree with you 100%.
You're absolutely right.
You're already
Yeah,
doing it,
doing it,
right?
yeah,
So if
yeah.
it's not broken,
It's-
Don't fix it.
right,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, they can transfer to cover, if they're gonna be in the hole by 300, they can transfer, but if they, in the hole by 300 and they need 500,
Yeah, depending,
Then-
if that's, the select board said you're only allowed to move $300. That's all all we're allowing the town manager to, $300.
but believe me, $300 is peanuts.
I understand that.
Put a zero behind it.
Trust me, I understand.
30,000
I'm
is,
just, yeah,
yeah,
but I'm just kind of,
yeah.
Just tossing out a number.
I understand
Right.
that,
Just
yeah.
enough.
I agree that we leave it.
Yeah.
so I'm not up for changing it to
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
all right, we have a motion?
I'll make the motion to leave, what is it?
905.
Section 905, with the amendments of manager council, but leaving without.
Second?
All in favor?
Do I vote now or later? I don't know.
I saw everyone else's.
I'm reading your face over there.
Yes, it was the-
She had a marina moment.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
I would make a motion at this point to send this all of our changes and all the updates to Natalie for review and ask her to please follow it back within a couple weeks. We're gonna have to push her because the 4th of July is upon us and
Yeah.
holidays, and it just ain't gonna work because 4th falls on a Thursday, and you know it's gonna be Thursday, Friday,
Yeah.
into Monday, so.
Yeah, well, we were wanting to discuss also the petition to override action of council. What this is many of the towns have started to adopt that any action of the council, the people have the right to petition to overrule their action.
You kind of have that already.
We have that.
Well,
So if
No,
they,
not
if-
really.
No, not the
No.
way this is, like say today, they pass, the select board up and they pass this ordinance, but the people didn't want it and didn't get a chance. They could petition the town and demand a vote to say yes or no if they want. Because right now, see, if the planning board sets an ordinance, the select board passes the ordinance, the townspeople have no say, yes or no. What this does is this gives the townspeople a chance to say, well, we'll go out and we'll collect the signatures and we'll force a vote to say yes or no. And if they do not want the change in that ordinance or regulation, they will have the right to say yes or no.
Don't they have a say at the public hearing?
Not really.
Not really.
Was there something in ordinances that,
No, this is something new that they, like Gorham's got it, Cumberland's has added it, Kennybunk has added it, Standish has it, Gray has it,
Where are you proposing to put this?
Wyndham has it.
yeah, right now it is,
Jeez.
it's, the way it
Freeport,
works is if
Falmouth.
they were to pass something, there would have to be a petition to change it, that person would need to go out and collect the signatures, and then it would be voted on at an election.
Right.
Yeah, so we have it already.
No, this override's not there.
It's different. I guess I'm not.
It's different because it's not, it wouldn't be, you're saying there, it's different, but it isn't. If they passed an ordinance and someone didn't like it, someone would file that petition and go out and get the signatures for everyone who's against it, but rather than an election, those signatures would be no votes, is what you're saying.
Right, it would be yes or no. And that, the people would have the chance to vote on, do you want this ordinance to stand, or no, do you want it to be?
So the petition would be to bring it to vote.
The only time I've seen that is your marijuana deals.
Oh, that was to change the ordinance. That was to change it.
Well, they was fighting the ordinance that the townspeople voted in. And
Because-
wanted
Yeah,
it
the people
changed,
brought
and
in
A
a
petition.
petition.
Yeah.
petition to-
Well, they had to get X amount of signatures.
Yeah.
It was like, I
They
think
did
10% off the
override.
glass
10%.
gubernatorial. They had to get X amount of signatures that were for what they wanted to change.
They
Right.
did.
And they did, and then it was put on the ballot.
Right, that was to change the ordinance. This here is an
It's
action
different.
taken by the town council.
Yeah.
Now, in this, they're hiring, you can't, there's no way, it's up to them, whoever they hire. You can't, the townspeople can't stand up and say, well, I want a petition because I don't want that guy in there or that girl in there. No, they can't do that. This is only on ordinances, regulations.
It's on any decision.
But isn't that what that's one of the duties of the select board, is to hire the other people, correct?
Right, well, no, but that's what I'm saying. This override is not part of that. They can't, they still have the right to do that. This is any regulation, any ordinance change, any statutes that they vote on and put forth to the people. This is an overrule of that to say, we want a chance to vote on it, yes or no, the townspeople. Because right now, if they make a vote within the town council, the townspeople can't say yes or no. They come in here to a public hearing and say no, 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 but the town council could do whatever they want anyway. This is an added feature to add on to that the townspeople, if they want to go get the signatures and they want to force a vote, then the next municipal election, it would be on the next municipal election if the people say yes or no to that change.
And
What-
most of them have a deadline, some
Well-
14 days, some 30 days.
Right,
Well, my only concern with that is some ordinances, didn't zoning just go through this? Wasn't there a change in zoning where they actually had a deadline to adopt something?
Yeah.
Shoreline zone.
Sure, it was in the.
And they had a deadline to meet that. and I know you'll correct me if I'm wrong, my only concern is, and that was to be up with state statute, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
you either had to come up with your own shoreline zoning, which was
by a certain date,
more restrictive than the state, or
Or
adopt
equal.
the state to adopt
The
the
state
state.
regulations.
Yeah.
so would this be a scenario in which if someone didn't like that was adopted, they could go out and do this when there's a specific deadline that board has to meet?
Yeah,
Right.
That's my only concern with
See,
this.
some of them in here, it's like Nancy just said, some of the towns, you have a 30-day deadline. You take care, Gorham has a 14-day deadline.
Some of them, Southport is 10 days.
Yeah, some are 10 days. So there is, we could set a set amount of days and a set amount of percentage of signatures needed.
I think the state law requires.
Oh, they're all different in here, gee. Falmouth has 60 days.
No, but I'm talking, the amount of signatures.
It's usually off of your last gubernatorial
Yeah.
percent.
Yeah, that's all governed by the state.
So it's not just ordinances you're talking about though, right? Are you talking about any action that they take?
It's any-
For example, if they-
Regulation, statutes,
So if the
ordinances.
select board voted to close a road, and I
Oh,
didn't
no,
agree
no,
with that,
No, this
I
is,
could.
this is only stuff that your ordinances change that govern the people of the town.
Planning board and,
Right.
But some of them is
ZB.
resolutions.
planning board, ZBA, and I think what he's talking is, there's a Bible in here with ordinances, that govern the parking up here at Osprey Lake that you can't enforce, and snow plowing, and,
Well, as far as the planning,
There's-
board.
there's 200 ordinances in that book that some of them date back into the 50s.
Right.
But we've tried to clean those up in the last, some of them didn't even match the towns. So they've either been deleted or changed so that they meet whatever. There's, I think 18 or 20 of them that's been adopted.
I guess I would have to see what that language is gonna.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I have to see what the
For-
language he wants to put
Yeah,
in
I-
and where, because as far as the planning board, if anybody does not like the ruling on a planning board, it's called the ZBA.
Yeah.
There's a process
For appeals.
for
yeah.
appeals.
No, well, no, that's not it. If the planning board up and wants to change an ordinance, they approve amongst themselves. They go to the town council. Town council says, yep, we pass it. And the people in town did not have a chance to say yes or no.
They have a chance.
No, they don't, because when they're here in a public hearing, they don't vote yes or no. They give their opinion yes or no, and turn right around, the town council says, well, no, we're gonna do it anyway, even though the people said no, and I've seen that happen.
The next step is the ZBA.
And this here,
Or
it's
petition.
not just ordinances, it's regulations and everything. It was right there, Kennybunk had done it, there's all these other towns that have done it. It's a chance for the people to stand up and say no. We don't like what you're doing, you went against our will, and we want the right to say yes or no in a town vote.
My motion is still to send
Yeah, well, I
this as
know
we
what you're,
worked on, send this to the town council for review and proceed in this manner.
Well, I still, before we do that, my question still is, Dave, do you have language? Or have we had language?
yeah, there was something that had came, this had come like 3 months ago. I know it was right, I thought I had printed it. It came,
Yeah,
We've had it
it's on
from-
the spreadsheet.
Kenny Bunk's.
Oh, I can pull Kennybunk.
Yeah, Kennebunk had it there.
We're in Kennybunk.
Well, the other towns that, too, that was just the one that she had sent, and yes, there's Gorham, there's,
But if
aha,
there's
right here.
something,
Section 2, petition to overrule of action of council. All ordinances, resolutions, or orders except those making appointments or removals or regulating executive, the internal procedure of the council shall be subject to overrule by a citizen referendum as follows. After the adoption of an ordinance, resolution, or vote by the council, the voters may file a petition requesting that such ordinance, resolution, or order be put on referendum vote. Such petition shall be issued by the town clerk and be signed by not less than 15% of the registered voters of the town and filed with the town clerk within 30 days of the council's actions. The council shall call a public hearing to be held within 30 days from the date of the filing of such petition with the town clerk and shall submit the ordinance, resolution, or order to a referendum vote at the next regular election at least 30 days after the public hearing. The said ordinance, resolution, or order shall not be enacted until it has received an affirmative vote of the majority of the voters voting on said question. And
Well,
there,
I'll say this last election, we had an 8-point-something% turnout.
oh, yeah,
Yeah, but
800
that's not saying that.
So-
That's saying the registered voters.
That's
Yeah.
of our registered voters.
Yeah.
So that's less than what that's,
right. But like I said, other towns have, that's up to our interpretation. It doesn't have to be 30 days, it doesn't have to be 10% of the registered voters. It could be either, you make up your own percentages in days, because these here,
am I not reading this in 801? Am
No,
I reading
this-
something different?
no,
No,
this.
but in ours, aren't I reading similar language in 801?
I guess,
No, that's if you want to solicit the town to change something that's already on the books.
This would be on the
This
block.
way, yeah, if it was
It's
passed by
already
the
on the
council,
book.
it would be on the book.
Right, because it
So-
says within 30 days after the enactment by the council of any ordinance which is subject to referendum, a petition signed by registered voters equal in number to at least 10% of the ballots cast in the town of Waterboro in the last gubernatorial election may be filed with the town clerk, requesting that such ordinance be either repealed or submitted to the vote of the
I
voters.
just did it with marijuana.
I don't know enough about this, I'm just asking a question. Am I not, are we not talking the same thing, or are we talking something different?
I think ordinances kind of stand by themselves, by themselves. Most of the towns add any resolutions, any votes that they take on something that can be controversial.
Right, so closing a road? If the board votes to close a road,
I
are
would
we
say-
talking that?
I would say yes,
Because somebody
you
said
could.
no, but
Yeah,
I would
it
say
could
you
be.
could.
I-
Because it would depend on the reasoning behind closing the road.
Is it flooded? Is it?
Well, because it hasn't been used in 50 years and it's full of trees. It's a paper
Right.
Could
road.
be a whole
It's a
different
paper,
kettle
it's a
of
paper
worms,
road that's
trust
never
me.
been developed.
It
No,
could be a
she's-
whole
she-
different kettle of
Yeah,
worms.
Yeah,
it's
well,
two
I can
kettles
see,
of worms, but-
there's lots of cans
But
of
there's-
worms and there's different circumstances.
Correct, absolutely correct.
But I think you're just kind of stating like, at what point are you too far down the, like,
Right,
are you
where
being too
in the
specific?
rabbit
Yeah.
hole?
Too micro.
are you-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we gonna
What's
go?
gonna be within those parameters?
I think 801 does it already.
Well, it does for ordinances, that's for sure. I mean, it does it for ordinances, but for it doesn't talk about resolutions, it doesn't talk about other votes. I don't know how far down the rabbit hole you wanna go in micromanaging, I mean,
You know, the same could be said for the town council. How deep is their rabbit holes of regulating the people? Of the,
Well, in
you know, the
theory,
citizens
that's
of town.
because they won the majority vote of the people to represent them.
well,
Yeah.
and
That's a loaded question.
Yeah, well, that's our whole government.
Yeah.
then
Sorry, Nancy, I
I
tried.
guess,
Didn't make a difference to me,
I tried.
I just thought it was very interesting that a lot of
Yeah,
towns
so
are
did-
putting that
so
in
did
now,
I.
and it's like, that many towns having a problem that they're putting this in now? I mean,
Right.
Well,
should it be something
Sounds
we
like
should
they're
be
all
looking
copying
at?
each other. Everybody's got everybody else's
No,
charter
I
when they
think
sit down.
they're all different.
Well, that's it. Our charter right now is based on another town. And look what happened to both towns.
right, but for me, the issue isn't, in my mind, if, you know, people are trying to put that in the town charter, it's because they're having a hard time with the trust of their town council members or their select board. So the language for me that I would prefer to firm up is your qualifications, the powers, who polices those powers, who polices, you know, really, you know, the select board, they have to police themselves. So for me, it's the language of really police yourselves. You do have a thing in here in the town charter that talks about conflict of interest. I would like to see that policed a little better, in all honesty. So do we shore up the language of the town council and their powers and their duties and how they police themselves and the conflict of interest in that sort of thing, so that when you do have a counselor that you're voting for, that you can look to that person and say, you know what? If you're not doing that, you are not abiding by this.
Well,
You know what
You
I
know,
mean?
oh, I
That's
understand what you're
where-
saying.
That's where, you know, because if we're going to second guess everybody's, the board's vote or the council's vote, this could tie up
It could be a
but now
nightmare.
let me
things.
clarify. You're saying policing themselves.
Yep,
When it comes to the charter as it's written now, when we look at forfeiture of office, a willful violation of this charter,
yep,
we have a willful violation of this charter when they hired the fire chief to be the town administrator. Because his time is to be devoted 100% to that job. So they didn't police themselves. They went over and above what the charter allowed, and they took it upon themselves to do what they wanted, regardless of what the charter said.
The only recourse anybody would have for, if people were upset about it, the recourse would be recall.
Right. Exactly.
and so there is a recourse.
There is a recourse.
To a point, but
recall.
still, like I'm saying, that's the problem.
Well,
We already have, you know, if we're gonna say, oh, well, no, that's okay, because we like, that's us, if we're saying that. The problem is, the charter is not being followed as the charter is written today. That is a
look,
problem.
trust me,
So-
I understand where you're coming
Right.
from, I really do. And Dwayne has been on the end of, several years ago, several emails from me. But I get it, I truly understand where you're coming from, and again, for me, adding language, I mean, we have language about the ordinances, we have language in there. What we don't have is bringing to the voters resolutions or actions that, you know, people may have questions about. I don't know where that rabbit hole leads us, and I'm a little nervous about that rabbit hole. I would more like to see something in the charter that really beefs up this conflict of interest and beefs up what the people, the voters, and the people and citizens of the town of Waterboro expect in their counselor. But I think they say that when they vote. You know, and at some point, when you're sitting in those chairs, and you have a decision to make because you don't have a town manager, or you don't have, what were they called before, a town administrator, you can't find a qualified person. And trust me, this is not the only town that's having trouble finding people for those positions.
Oh, I understand that.
What do you do? Because there's still personnel that have to happen. And you know, I've seen towns that that the select board deals with their personnel. It's not always a great situation. So, I mean, I just.
Right, so it's darned if you do and darned if you don't.
Right, right.
So basically, you're saying the people have no say.
I'm not saying
She's
that.
saying that the people have what to say.
Yeah, not as much. I mean, a law is a law, and it's a problem when we have to start discussing, well, we'll follow this law, but we're not gonna follow that one. We'll follow this part of the charter, but nah, we don't feel like following this one because we didn't like the 2 out of the 40, so we're gonna go to this person instead of looking at these 2.
Take that hammer.
And that's exactly what was said, is that we would not like 38 out of the 40 that went in. So those 2 were not even picked. We went to a third. So, and that's all I'm saying is that how do we
I don't think you
know
can
that our
second
government is
guess
gonna
every
follow this
decision.
charter? Why are we building
thing
a
is
charter
there is a-
that they'll follow if they want to follow it or not?
There is a process for people though. I mean, anyone has the ability, if they don't like something, to come in, get a petition, or create their own, go out and get signatures, come back, and that goes on a ballot. They cannot
Right.
deny it here. They may not agree with it, but if they get the signatures, it has to go to ballot.
And if people are very unhappy with decisions that was made,
They will go vote.
they will go vote.
Yes.
That's right.
So
If
if
If it
something
matters
is
to
done
them, they will.
at this, regardless, if something's done at this table, and someone doesn't like it, they have that right to collect signatures. If they get the signatures, it comes to the board. The board doesn't have to agree, but if they get the signatures, it legally has to go on the ballot, regardless of what the people at this table say, and it gets voted on.
And it's always happened that way. Always.
Even if the board were to unanimously say no, it's not going on the ballot. It is going on the ballot. It is going on the ballot.
That is not within their purview.
No, no, because they've gotten the signatures needed.
Right.
It has to go on. All
Still got
right.
a motion on the table.
Yeah, Dwayne's kind
Well,
of had one.
okay, I just got one more thing, because I had highlighted it. I know we had discussed taking out the warrant under 702, the warrant of town election shall be posted, insertion of monies and non-money articles 60 days prior to the town election. Council will be allowed with a unanimous vote to add additional articles to the warrant up to 30 days prior. I mean, we can't do that. Now, so, we had talked about even taking that whole thing out. But should we put a deadline or something in there?
I feel like there should be some deadline,
They should be, yeah,
but you're cutting it close. I have to have ballots by 30 days.
yeah.
Right.
Legally. So,
I thought we were gonna follow the state law.
I think that's what we had
what I
said,
had
whatever
said.
I
the
thought
state.
all the way through there that we agreed to follow the state laws no matter what they are.
It would have to be the state laws for
I would say
Deadline.
'Elections.
45
referendum
days.
questions, right? Referendum questions is 90 days.
90 days for the
Yeah.
referendum question.
Right.
And there is a timeline of non-money articles, but it's with the absentee votes,
Well,
it's gotta be like 60 days now because it's 30, but
so for example, right now, our warrant articles have to be ready by 40, have to be done by 45 days prior to the election, our warrant articles. But that's essentially saying, you could have a warrant out and posted, but we're gonna change it.
so it needs to be at least 60 days to get time to print it. Minimum of 60 days.
All articles 60 days?
Yeah, because you got 30.
Yeah, because they have
it's-
60 and 30.
Yeah.
No. So just change it to all money and non-money articles, 90 days, you say, or 60?
He said 60.
Okay.
60 to non-money, 90 to money
60.
and 60 to non-money articles.
Non-money.
Yeah, yeah,
None money.
So money is the
Money.
90.
yeah, because that's gotta go through finance, that's gotta go through
There's a
all
whole
of that.
process.
And there's quite a process there, so,
And then the non-money is 60.
yeah. Which gives you a 15-day notice, 15 days for her to print that,
Right.
before it goes to absentee.
Is that your motion to change that to that?
I can make it a motion, but,
We got a motion on the
I would say we have one kind of
Well, we gotta
pending.
do away with that one.
I'm going hanging out there.
did I have a second?
You didn't have a second on that
Okay,
motion.
so my motion's defeated anyway. Because it was
There
never
was no
asked for a
second.
There
second.
was, right.
I have to make the motion
So
again.
my motion is gone to start with. My new motion is, what's the number, Nancy?
702.
Under
702.
702, the money articles have to be done 90 days prior to the election, and non-money articles have to be done 60 days prior to the election.
Anyone want to second that?
I'll second.
All in favor? Unanimous. All right.
I think that's all I had.
I don't have any.
David, were you gonna put a motion on the floor to add that language?
Nope.
Okay.
My motion at this point is to send all of this that we have worked on for the last 6 months to Natalie for review and clarifications.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
The next thing, I believe, should be that we schedule a public hearing.
Yeah.
Now, we want this out probably 3 weeks at least out, but,
But you need, I don't know how long Natalie's gonna
Yeah.
take.
Well, that's the thing, I don't know
What
what
she's
her
got for a
schedule's gonna,
holiday.
yeah.
I mean, we might be out a month even, but that's cutting it very close to get it through our public hearing and then change anything that needs to be done and then send it to the selectmen so that they can have a public hearing prior to September.
Well, we're supposed to have our preliminary report to go to public, for public meeting by August 7th, so,
August 7th, okay, so that you got just about a month. So-
yeah, we got a month. Unless we ask for an extension from the select board.
But if you ask for an extension, that's not gonna go to November
No.
You won't go for this election.
We'll
So,
go till next
Yeah.
November.
So, I mean, I would hope that Natalie would have enough time from tomorrow, or whenever
Yeah.
we get everything together,
Yeah.
to review what needs to be done. I mean, it's,
well, set your public hearing for the first. Set it for the 6th, no, that's gonna be a slow.
that's gonna be a holiday weekend.
No, August.
August.
August the
We got-
7th is the last day.
Depending on when we started.
Okay, so the 30th of July, we could pencil in a public hearing. Unless you wanna have it some other day. That don't mean that we gotta have this on a Tuesday night. But the 30th would be an open meeting night,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and,
the 9th is that's too soon.
well, if it's gotta be done by the 7th, then, you haven't got time in August to have it, unless you.
Well, I have August 7th
Yeah.
plus or minus,
Yeah.
depending on when we were voted in.
Yeah. So. But I would just my opinion, I would pencil that into the 30th of July. And how we advertise it, you know. We're gonna have to do the best. I mean, we're gonna have to run one in the Portland paper, even though nobody's gonna read it.
No, we'll have to.
So,
We have,
And I can
yeah.
still, it can still get put into the recorder.
the reporter, yeah.
Yeah.
There again, the reporter, I don't know how many pick it out.
Well, put it on
Yeah.
what's up in Waterboro.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, we've got 3 signs out here, so,
We can put it on the signs, we can put it
Yeah.
on Waterboro, we
I
can
mean-
put it on the town announcement page, we can put it,
there's,
That's what we do
Send
for
out
voting,
the
I mean,
Yeah.
Baker
text.
Automotive, Lakeside, they all, even for voting purposes, they'll run it on their screens, so.
Yeah.
Well, can we send it out in text too?
Yeah,
Or,
Angela
yeah.
could do that,
We
absolutely.
could do the text,
Oh,
the
that's a
text
good
messages.
idea.
Yeah, whenever we have, I will say, if something's coming from my office specifically, it goes out to all platforms on TextMyGov.
Oh, it's
So-
great, I used it.
3 times.
Well, if you're signed up for each one, but hey, you got it, right?
That's
You got it.
I signed up for all of them, so I get them all.
Yeah.
I already voted on my motion,
Yeah, I don't think, so your motion was
and you got a
for,
second on it, I think.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
seconded
we
it.
got a second.
So, we need a vote on
the 30th.
to send this to Nancy.
Oh,
send
you
it
already
to
got
Natalie.
that.
We had to
already
vote.
We did
that.
that
Oh,
already,
okay.
yeah, it was
It's the
unanimous.
public
Okay,
hearing.
so my next motion will be to schedule a public hearing for the 30th if Natalie feels that she can get it done.
Okay, anyone second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Unanimous. I say, Dwayne, you're messing me up, I thought we voted on that already.
Well, I went,
I keep raising my hand.
Hopefully, we'll have a chance to peek at it before the public
Yeah.
hearing.
So, I mean, yeah, definitely what I
Well,
told you is
yeah,
when
because
Natalie
we
gets
have-
it back, I'll send it out to everyone.
but we can schedule,
We have a 9th and the 9th and the 23rd, we have meetings.
Yeah.
So,
She's probably not gonna have anything back to us for
Right.
the night.
oh, no,
No.
I wouldn't even expect that, but we still have we do have one meeting prior
Prior.
to the 30th.
Right,
23rd.
hopefully she'll have
I-
it by the 23rd.
She could have some.
my suggestion, unless you guys have got something that's gotta be handled, hashed out, the night could be canceled, because you're gonna have nothing back.
Right.
Unless she gets, I mean, there ain't no way she can get it done.
No, it-
So,
you have to figure that she's off the
Yeah.
week
Yeah.
of
but
July
you
1st.
you can have a meeting on the 23rd
Yeah,
and hopefully have it,
And have it by
30th.
then, yeah.
yeah.
and at that point, draft, and it should be scattered all over town. I mean, we should have a
Yeah.
couple hundred copies to get out,
Well, we have
Yeah.
to.
yeah.
Yeah,
So, Town clerk must distribute a copy to any voter requesting one.
yep,
Yeah,
we'll be ready. I'll have
But-
tons of them. You know what I'll do? I'll do what I did when he switched hours and we had a public hearing for something else. I'll get packets and they can get sent to the transfer station for distribution.
That's a good idea.
I'm pretty sure I did that for our first public hearing here
Yeah.
for the charter. I don't think anyone showed up, but I will do it again. So,
Yeah.
did you have a motion to cancel the 9th?
yes, I
Okay.
will. I'll make that a motion.
Okay, anyone want a second?
I'll second
Okay,
it.
second. All in favor?
Yeah.
And I will make a motion that if we have our paperwork back, we'll schedule a meeting for the 23rd and a public hearing for the 30th. Am I on the right? Yeah, 23rd and the 30th. So I will make a motion to have our next meeting on the 23rd and a public hearing on the 30th.
We already voted on the 30th, correct?
We did. It would just be to schedule for the 23rd
Right.
meeting, not
We
the
will
public
hold,
hearing.
yes, we will hold our regular meeting on the
On
23rd.
23rd, yeah.
And Dwayne made it a motion, second?
Yeah. Anyone want a second?
Oh, I'll second
Thank
it.
you. Lori, all in favor? Unanimous. Okay. Approve the minutes of the May 28th, 2024 meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Lori. All in favor? Unanimous.
No.
Dwayne's a yes.
No,
He's a-
I'm a no. I'm
he's a no?
Yeah, because I don't feel that there was enough information on that 301.
Okay,
There ain't minutes enough on it
All right.
okay.
due to the stampede that we had here.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Okay. All in favor?